We've sifted through the massive Amazon Prime catalog and plucked out the best original shows you should add to your binge list right away. Some of these have already established themselves as modern classics, while others are the hidden gems you've been searching for. Here are our favorites. Miriam Midge Maisel is your typical 1960s New York City housewife. That is, until her husband, a junior executive and amateur comedian, is exposed for stealing jokes and cheating on her. While Miriam's life is falling apart, it's also set on a new path when she gets up on the comedy stage herself and discovers something marvelous. She's the real comedian in the family. Transparent was the first show that established Amazon as a serious original content developer in streaming. Jeffrey Tambor plays Maura, a transgender woman whose late-in-life transition catches her family by surprise. As Maura embraces her true self, her family struggles with the new reality and their own turbulent lives.
So I have something to tell you.
Catastrophe still feels like a hidden secret among American viewers, starring Rob Delaney and Sharon Horgan as a couple whose one-night stand turns into a pregnancy and eventually a marriage and family. The show is often painfully awkward and remarkably sweet within the same episode. It also features the guest star of all guest stars, the late great Carrie Fisher, playing Rob's mother, Mia. Giovanni Ribisi stars as a convict who takes on the identity of his former cellmate in order to ditch his old life and avoid some very bad people. Chief among them is a nasty gangster with a penchant for grudges, played by Bryan Cranston.
Wow, what a performance.
Sneaky Pete is both a fan favorite and a critical darling, and you shouldn't miss it. While clearly inspired by Game of Thrones, Britannia still feels very much like its own beast. A beast filled with treachery, terrifying druids, and a whole mess of hallucinogens. Britannia plants its freak flag early on. Within the first few minutes, you'll see Mackenzie Crook appear as the most unsettling druid you'd ever care to meet, and watch a man dive off a cliff and into a nightmare fueled by psychotropic plants. Set during the mid-1960s, The Last Post follows life in and around a unit of Royal Military Police operating in the port city of Aden, now part of the nation of Yemen. It's a bit of Mad Men mixed with a bit of Army Wives, and the results are excellent. There's love, war, and infidelity in a jaw-dropping setting, and a slice of history many may not be familiar with. Amazon gets its own Black Mirror in this sci-fi anthology. Author Philip K. Dick was always good at predicting the ideologies and power struggles that a technological future would bring. Dick's sci-fi short stories from the 1950s provide the source material for Electric Dreams. In this 10-episode series, predictions from 60 years ago are eerily prescient. Comedian Tig Notaro became a legend during a July 2012 stand-up set. Only a few days after receiving her own breast cancer diagnosis, Notaro took the stage for a raw, heartbreaking, and hilarious set where she openly discussed the diagnosis, her fears, and her mother's recent death. Notaro then mined these events again to co-create the pseudo-autobiographical One Mississippi, where she plays a radio host battling cancer. She returns to her small-town Mississippi home to tend to her dying mother. This essential comedy will leave you in tears, but you won't know if it's from the laughter or from the sadness. The Man in the High Castle asks the question, what if the Axis powers had won World War II and divided a conquered United States between them, half for Germany and half for Japan? It's based on the classic novel by Philip K. Dick and investigates what the world would look like several decades after the initial shock has worn off and life has settled into a routine. And what if some of the rebellious minds of that world began to suspect that this is not how it's supposed to be? Mozart in the Jungle is not your average TV show. It's set behind the scenes of a major symphony and tracks the push, pull, and politics of what makes an orchestra tick. Specifically, the relationship between a young oboist and a passionate conductor. The beloved cult classic The Tick has already birthed a cartoon and a short-lived Fox sitcom, but this new iteration from Amazon feels very different. The goofball antics of earlier versions are still on display, but The Tick's mix of childlike enthusiasm and good-natured dim-wittedness are front and center. This version of the story is shaded by the titular character's past traumas and the ongoing neuroses they've spawned. It's the most mature and nuanced riff of The Tick that we've seen yet, even though it's still silly and fun as hell. Those are our picks for the best Amazon original series to stream right now, but if we missed one of your favorites, please let us know in the comments down below. If you're still not sure what to binge tonight, check out our other streaming guides linked here for our favorite movies, series, classic shows, and documentaries. And be sure to subscribe to get more of our streaming guides in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.